Our first contender tonight is Emma Busk. She's a PR consultant from Lincolnshire and her specialist subject, the television series MASH. Next, David Sutherland from Gateshead. He's answering questions on the reforming statesman George Lambton. David Noble's a teacher from London. His specialist subject, English League football grounds. And Michael Taylor, an historian from Manchester. His subject, the rock band U2. I'm John Humphrys and welcome to Mastermind. The rules, as you will know, are simple: 2 minutes for their specialist subjects and 2.5 minutes for the general knowledge. All four contenders dream the same dream, becoming the next Mastermind champion. Who will it be? Well, let's ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Emma Busk.
Your occupation?
PR consultant.
And your chosen subject?
The TV series MASH.
MASH in 2 minutes, starting now. The television series MASH, set in a mobile army hospital during the Korean War, was based on a film and novel by Richard Hooker. Who developed it for television and wrote the pilot episode?
Larry Gelbart.
Yes. In The Birthday Girls, in which city does Margaret Houlihan plan to have a romantic birthday celebration? She misses a plane because a jeep breaks down.
Tokyo.
Yep. As fighting gets nearer to the MASH unit, Colonel Potter orders evacuation of the camp to a cave. Hawkeye's against the idea because he has what condition?
Claustrophobia.
Yep. Which singer-songwriter who plays Captain Calvin Spaulding in Season 3 performs North Korean blues in the episode Rainbow Bridge?
Loudon Wainwright III.
Yes. Radar's given a field promotion to a non-existent rank so he can enter the officers' club when he and Hawkeye meet B.J. Honeycutt on his arrival in Korea. What rank?
Corporal Captain.
Yes. Who takes over temporary command of the unit after Henry Blake leaves and before the arrival of Sherman Potter?
Major Frank Burns.
Yep. What animal does Corporal Klinger buy from a peddler because he thinks it'll help him get rich?
Pass.
The theme music for the series is an instrumental version of the song Suicide is Painless. Who wrote the music?
Pass.
What is the name of the game invented by BJ and Hawkeye that is a combination of chess, poker and checkers?
Pass.
In the episode Bombshells, when the unit is full of speculation about various news items, Hawkeye and Charles start a rumour that the unit's going to be visited by which actress?
Marilyn Monroe.
Yes. On what subject does Frank Burns ask Father Mulcahy to give a talk while Henry is away in Tokyo giving a lecture on hemorrhoids?
Temperance.
Yes. In None Like It Hot, what item that's delivered to the camp during a heatwave is described by Charles as a canvas Xanadu?
A bathtub.
Yep. Which member of the cast directed Goodbye, Farewell and Amen, the final episode of MASH?
Alan Alda.
Yep. When Rosie's injured in a brawl, members of the MASH unit run the bar on her behalf. What's the name of the Australian military policeman who she says should get free drinks?
Ugly John.
Muldoon. Klinger has to serve 30 days kitchen duty after he hit Sergeant Zale because he insulted a minor league baseball team from Klinger's hometown of Toledo. Which team?
The Mud Hens.
Yep. Who plays Lieutenant Colonel Henry Blake, the commander of the MASH 4077 unit in the first 3 series?
McLean Stevenson.
Is correct. You have 3 passes, Emma. The name of the game invented by BJ and Hawkeye, Double Cranko. And the theme music from the series, Johnny Mandel, who wrote that music. And Klinger bought, because he thought it would help him to get rich, a goat. You have scored, Emma, 12 points.
Thank you very much.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
David Sutherland.
Your occupation?
Retired.
And your chosen subject?
George Lambton, 1st Earl of Durham.
In 2 minutes, starting now. The first Earl of Durham, also known as Radical Jack, was a politician who helped draft the Reform Bill in 1832. On what industry was his personal fortune mainly based?
Coal mining.
Yep. In Lambton's maiden speech in the House of Commons in May 1814, he attacked the government's support for Denmark's cession of which country to Sweden?
Norway.
Yep. Lambton supported Henry Brougham in his attack on a tax that had been introduced to finance the Napoleonic Wars and was abolished in March 1816. Which tax?
Pass.
What was the name of the Whig politician with whom Lambton fought a duel in 1826 after he'd been called a liar?
Thomas Beaumont.
Yep. Which cavalry regiment did Lambton join after he left Eton? His commission was arranged by his uncle Ralph.
The 10th Light Dragoons.
Yes, in 1832, the Prime Minister, Lord Grey, sent Lambton to St. Petersburg, in part to persuade Tsar Nicholas to recognise the King of newly independent Belgium. What was the King's name?
Leopold.
Yep. In which street was Lambton's London house, where a committee led by him did much of the preparatory work for the Great Reform Bill?
Cleveland Row.
Yep. In October 1834, 120,000 people gathered to hear Lambton speak in a city where he attended a feast known as the Durham Dinner. Which city?
Glasgow.
Yes. According to the MP Thomas Creevey, what sum did Lambton say was a moderate income, such a one as a man might jog on with?
£40,000.
Yes. What order of chivalry did William IV award to Lambton when he stepped down as ambassador to Russia in 1837?
It's the Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath.
It was. Lambton was vice president of a society that asked a scientist to produce a safety lamp for use in mines and was present when it was tested in one of his collieries. Who was the scientist?
Humphrey Davy.
Yep. What was the name of the ship on which Lambton and his family sailed to Canada in April 1838?
The Hastings.
Yep. Who wrote an article that supported Lambton's actions in Canada and proposed him as the leader of the Liberal Party? Extracts of it appeared in The Spectator.
John Stuart Mill.
Yep. Towards the end of his life, Lambton became the governor of a company whose aim was to establish a colony in which country?
New Zealand.
New Zealand is correct. You had one pass. The tax that he was so opposed to, he wanted it abolished, was the income tax. However, David, you have 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
David Noble.
Your occupation?
Teacher.
And your chosen subject?
English Football League stadiums.
English Football League stadiums. Here we go. In 2003, Manchester City left Main Road and moved into a stadium that had been originally built for which international sporting event?
The Commonwealth Games.
Yes. What was the surname of the baronet who built Aston Hall during the early 17th century? It's also the name of the South Stand at Villa Park.
Holt.
Yep. Which team, who were promoted to the Football League in 2012, play their home matches at Highbury Stadium?
Fleetwood Town.
Yep. Which ground opened in 1900 and is believed to be the highest of the 92 Premier and Football League grounds at around 550 feet above sea level?
Pass.
Which stadium was the home of Holbeck Rugby Club from 1897 till 1904 when it was taken over by a football team? It was once known as the Old Peacock Ground.
Ellen Road.
Yep. What symbol of Tottenham Hotspur was made by the coppersmith W.J. Scott and first appeared on the roof of White Hart Lane's new West Stand soon after it opened in 1909?
A cockerel.
Yep. Grimsby Town's home ground, Blundell Park, is not actually in Grimsby, but in a neighbouring town. Which one?
Cleethorpes.
Yes. Whose ground was opened on the 31st of August 1935 by the club president Russell Coleman? It was built on land belonging to the Coleman Mustard Company.
Norwich City.
Yes. Which ground that opened in 1997 has the slogan, "Away the lads," written across the seats of its north stand?
The Stadium of Light.
Yep. The ashes of which famous footballer born in Hanley were buried under the centre circle at Stoke City's ground in 2000?
Or pass.
Which London club's current home ground, opened in 1896, was built on land that was once part of Anne Boleyn's hunting grounds?
Fulham.
Yes. What is the name of the construction company that built Huddersfield Town Stadium? It opened in 1994. They also bought its naming rights.
McAlpine.
Yep. Which ground staged what's believed to be the first floodlit football match in 1878, as well as a test cricket match in 1902?
The Old Showground.
Bramall Lane. What team have played home matches at the Liberty Stadium since 2005?
Swansea City.
Yes, Rotherham United's current stadium opened in 2012 on a site that used to be the location of the Guest and Crimes Foundry. Which city was it named after whose distinctive fire hydrants were once made at the foundry?
New York.
Yep, absolutely New York. You had two passes. That very, very famous footballer's ashes were buried under the centre circle at Stoke City. Stanley Matthews.
Of course.
And it was the Hawthorns that opened in 1900, believed to be the highest of all the Premier and Football League grounds. However, David, you have scored 12 points. Thank you. And our final contender, please. And your name is?
Michael Taylor.
Occupation?
Historian.
And your specialist subject?
You too.
You too. Here we go. U2's first singles were released by CBS Ireland. Which record label did the band subsequently sign to in 1980?
Ireland.
Yep, the band was originally called Feedback when it was formed in the mid-70s at a Dublin comprehensive school. Which school?
Mount Temple.
Yep. Which song on the 88 chart-topping album Rattle and Hum does Bono introduce with the words, "This is a song Charles Manson stole from the Beatles. We're stealing it back"?
Helter Skelter.
Yes. What is the name of the club in West Hampstead where U2 played their first gig in Britain on the 1st of December, 1979?
Moonlight Club.
Yep. In March 1988, the band won Grammys for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal and Album of the Year. For which album?
Joshua Tree.
Yep. What is the name of the Irish former world champion boxer who appeared in the video for Sweetest Thing?
Steve Collins.
Indeed. What was the title of the song that U2 recorded for the 1990 Cole Porter tribute album Red, Hot and Blue, which was released to benefit AIDS research and relief?
Night and Day.
Correct. At which airport did Anton Corbijn take the photo that features on the cover of the band's album All That You Can't Leave Behind?
Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah. Which musician has directed several videos for the band, including Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out Of, Numb, and Even Better Than the Real Thing?
Pass.
In 2014, the band was criticised after their new album was added to the libraries of all iTunes subscribers. What was the album's title?
Songs of Innocence.
Yes. The band's 1991 album Achtung Baby was recorded in Dublin and at which studio in Berlin?
Hansa Ton.
Yeah. What was the name of the band's tour that began in Florida in March 2001 and ended in the same state over 8 months later after more than 100 concerts?
Elevation.
Yes. U2 voiced cartoon versions of themselves in the 200th episode of The Simpsons in 1998. What was the title of the episode?
Trash to the Titans.
Yes. What was the name of the record label that U2 launched in 1984, which helped young unsigned bands entering the music industry, such as Hothouse Flowers?
Mother.
Yes. The song Angel of Harlem from the Rattle and Hum album was a tribute to which jazz singer?
Billie Holiday.
Is correct. You had one pass. That musician who directed several videos was Kevin Godley. Had you got that one, you'd got them all right. As it was, you've got 14 points. Well, a very close contest. Let's have a look at all of the scores. In joint third place, 12 points apiece, Emma Busk and David Noble. Second place, 13 points, David Sutherland. First place, 14 points, Michael Taylor. Round two now, the general knowledge round, and if there is a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the contender with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. So let us get on with it and ask Emma to join us again, please. And you start out with 12 points, Emma, and everything to play for in this game. And you get 2.5 minutes of general knowledge questions, of course. So here we go. The rough, strong form of which drink made from apples is known as scrumpy?
Cider.
Yep. What is the name of the double Olympic champion middle distance runner who was a physical training instructor in the British Army during her early athletics career?
Sally Gunnell.
Kelly Holmes. Which 1985 Steven Spielberg film based on a novel by Alice Walker was nominated for 11 Oscars but ended up winning none?
The Colour Purple.
Yeah. In Indian cookery, what popular style of meat dish is known by the name of the traditional cylindrical deep clay oven in which it is cooked?
Tikka.
Tandoori. What is the French term for shreds of paper mixed into a pulp with resin or glue and pressed together in a mould to make ornaments and masks?
Papier-mâché.
Yep. Which city is the capital of the southern Italian region of Campania?
Naples.
Yep. In American politics, what name is given to the member of the House of Representatives who is elected to lead the House?
Speaker of the House.
Yep. In the Bible, what was the name of the last of the judges of Israel who anointed Saul as its first king?
David.
Samuel. What is the title of the 1970s television series in which a kitchen maid, played by Gemma Jones, becomes the manageress of a fashionable London hotel?
The Duchess of Duke Street.
Yep. Which Beatles' #1 was their first single released on the Apple label?
Please Please Me.
Hey Jude. Who composed the music for the opera The Barber of Seville, first performed in Rome as Almaviva in 1816?
Rossini.
Yes. What calculating device that consists of graduated scales capable of relative movement was an essential tool in science and engineering before electronic calculators?
The Slide Rule.
Yeah. The smallest species of which flightless bird is called the little blue or fairy and lives mainly around the coasts of Australia and New Zealand?
Kiwi.
Penguin. Peter II was the last king of which country? He fled from there when the Germans invaded in 1941.
Russia.
Yugoslavia. What is the name of the literary heroine who is an orphan brought up by a cruel and wealthy aunt, Mrs. Reed, and has an unhappy time at Lowood School?
Pass.
In 1934, Tom Williams founded a motor company in Tamworth. His first vehicle was a three-wheeler van based on one produced by his former employer's Raleigh. What was the company called?
Reliant.
Yes, the storyline of a novel by Virginia Woolf takes place on a single day in the life of the high society woman who is the title character. Which novel?
Pass.
What red-faced character, often portrayed in a Union Jack waistcoat, has been a symbol of England since the 18th century?
John Bull.
Yeah, what word that means deliberate damage or destruction comes from the French for a shoe made from a single block of wood?
Clog.
Might have been like that. Yeah, sabotage.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that novel by Virginia Woolf, Single Day in the Life of a High Society Woman, Mrs. Dalloway, and the literary heroine brought up by her cruel aunt was none other than Jane Eyre. You have, Emma, 22 points. And now, David Noble, please. David, you start out with 12 points, and as you have just heard, the score to beat at the moment is 22. So here we go with 2.5 minutes. In which museum in Paris is Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa on public display?
The Louvre.
Yep. Who was the first Roman Catholic president of the United States of America?
JFK.
Yep. The Millennium Bridge, known as the Blinking Eye because of its shape and the way it tilts, links Newcastle upon Tyne to which town?
Gateshead.
Yep. What word that comes from the Latin for an official originally referred to a medieval wandering musician who performed songs or recited poetry with instrumental accompaniment?
Minstrel.
Yes. Which of his fellow dramatists wrote that Shakespeare had small Latin and less Greek?
Marlowe.
Ben Jonson. The island of Hispaniola is shared by the Republic of Haiti and which other country?
The Dominican Republic.
Yes. In which European capital city is the Mannequin P fountain, a bronze statue of a small boy relieving himself?
Brussels.
Yep. What is the alternative name of the Indian tiger, the most numerous of all tiger subspecies?
Pass.
The name of which supernatural being in Irish and other Celtic folklores whose wailing is a source of dread comes from the Irish or Scots Gaelic for woman of the fairies?
Kelpie.
Banshee. Whose 1935 novel A Clergyman's Daughter tells the story of Dorothy Hare, whose life's turned upside down after she has an attack of amnesia?
Evelyn Waugh.
George Orwell. Who was murdered in the Senate House by a group of conspirators on the Ides of March, 44 BC?
Julius Caesar.
Yep. Napier University is in which Scottish city?
Aberdeen.
Edinburgh. In which 2016 film, based on the DC Comics anti-hero team of the same name, does a government agency recruit imprisoned supervillains for dangerous missions in exchange for reduced sentences?
Justice League.
Suicide Squad. In which Puccini opera does Rodolfo sing the aria Che Galida Manina, your tiny hand is frozen, Dumini?
Pass.
What small oval fruit that originated in China and resembles a tiny orange can be eaten whole because the sweet rind is edible?
Apricot.
Kumquat. A British musician and celebrity chef of Jamaican heritage has had programmes on Radio 2 on which he plays his favourite reggae tunes from across the decades. Who is he?
Ainsley Harriott.
Levi Roots. Which Manchester Group's UK top 20 singles include Born of Frustration in 1992, She's a Star in 97, and Just Like Fred Astaire in 99?
James.
Yes. Cu is the symbol of which chemical element?
Copper.
Yep. The 1806 Battle of Austerlitz is known as the Battle of the Three Emperors because of the presence of the emperors of France, Austria and...
Prussia.
Yes, in David Copperfield. What is the name of the carrier to whom the hero's former nurse, Clara Peggotty, is eventually married?
No idea. I'm sorry, Pat.
Nah, well, that's a shame. Oh, well, it is Bacchus. That was one of your passes. La Boheme was the other, that Puccini opera. And the alternative name of the Indian tiger is the Bengal tiger. And I say that's a shame from your point of view because you've also got 22 points.
Excellent. Thank you.
And now the other David, David Sutherland, please. And you start out with 13 points, David, and the score to beat remains 22. So here we go. What name is given to the traditional unit of 4 inches used for measuring the height of horses and ponies?
Hand.
Yep, the artist David Hockney was born in 1937 in which West Yorkshire city?
Bradford.
Yep, the Rowley Mile and the July Course are the 2 tracks of which horse racing venue?
Epsom.
Newmarket. Which Oscar-winning actor was born Krishna Banji in December 1943 near Scarborough?
Pass.
In the affairs of the European Union, what do the letters CAP stand for?
Common Agricultural Policy.
Yep, the Chateau of Rambouillet is the official summer residence of the holder of which position?
President of France.
Yes, the American sitcom Joni Loves Chachi that ran from 1982 to 83 was a spin-off from which long-running series?
Pass.
What is the name of the composer who wrote the music for the opera The Tales of Hoffmann? It remained unfinished at his death in 1880.
Wagner.
Offenbach. Monica Ali's 2011 novel Untold Story is inspired by thoughts of what might have happened if a public figure had disappeared into an ordinary suburban life instead of dying in a car accident. Which public figure?
Princess Diana.
Yes, in 2015, a Labour MP had to battle with the Scottish nationalist to keep his favourite seat on the so-called rebels bench that he's occupied for decades. Which MP?
Pass.
In February 1692, which clan were the victims of the Glencoe massacre?
The McDonald's of Glasgow.
Yes, which seafood is known as homard on a French menu?
Lobster.
Yes, what is the title of the song that gave Frankie Vaughan a UK #2 hit in '56 and Shakin' Stevens a UK #1 hit in '81?
Oh, Give Me the Moonlight.
Green Door. In the poem by Longfellow, who is Hiawatha's beloved? Her name means laughing water.
Minnehaha.
Yes, according to tradition, what is the name of the daughter of Herodias who danced for Herod Antipas on his birthday?
Salome.
Yes, what is the international standard unit of luminous intensity? It's usually abbreviated to the letters CD.
Pass.
What word that originally referred to a hooded waterproof jacket worn by the Inuit people of Greenland has come to be applied to a person with a hobby which is seen as boring?
Anorak.
Yep. Feltham First, Early Onward and Kelvedon Wonder are popular varieties of which garden vegetable?
Pass.
What award for animal heroism was introduced by the founder of the People's Dispensary for Sick Animals in 1943?
The Dickon Medal.
Yes. What town near the west end of the Menai Strait is the site of a Roman fort called Saguntium and an imposing castle built by Edward I?
Carnarvon.
Carnarvon, yes. Cedric Hardwicke, Stuart Granger and Richard Chamberlain have all played Alan Quatermain film versions of which H. Rider Haggard novel?
King Solomon's Mines.
Is correct. You had 5 passes, David. Those Feltham First, Early Onward, etc. are all Ps. The International Standard Unit of Luminous Intensity, CD, means candela. That rebellious MP who's been in Parliament forever is Dennis Skinner. That American sitcom Joni Loves Chachi was a spin-off from Happy Days. And Krishna Banji, as he was born, became Sir Ben Kingsley. You have, however, David, scored now a total of 26 points. And finally, Michael, again. You start off with 14 points. Michael, the score is, as you've just heard, 26. So, let's see if you can do it and get through to the next round. Here we go. Which species of willow with long, slender, drooping branches has long been regarded as a symbol of mourning?
Weeping.
Yes. Santa Fe is the capital of which of the states of the United States?
New Mexico.
Yep. In which 1995 Oscar-winning film does Patrick McGoohan play the Hammer of the Scots, King Edward I?
Braveheart.
Yes. Catching Fire and Mockingjay are the second and third books in the Hunger Games trilogy. Who's the author?
Suzanne Collins.
Yes. In which racket sport is the object that is hit sometimes called a bird?
Badminton.
Yes. Aphonia is the medical term for the loss of what faculty?
Pass.
Which Finnish composer published virtually nothing after the 1926 tone poem Tapiola, although he lived until 1957 and was supposedly working on an 8th symphony?
Sibelius.
Yes. What is the name of the veteran British heavy metal band who played their farewell gig in Birmingham in February 2017 after 49 years together?
Black Sabbath.
Yes. The ferocious reputation of a type of shark was enhanced when it appeared in the film Jaws. Which shark?
Great White.
Yep. Who advised King Arthur's father Uther to establish the knightly fellowship of the Round Table, according to many versions of the Arthurian legend?
Merlin.
Yep. What is the title of the television series in which Jeremy Clarkson and his two former Top Gear co-stars reappeared in November 2016?
The Grand Tour.
Yes. What is the name of the consulting detective who makes his first appearance in the 1887 story A Study in Scarlet?
Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. Who succeeded his father John to the English throne in 1216?
Edward I.
Henry III. Which Danish architect designed the Sydney Opera House?
Pass.
What word for the intense white light once used as theatre stage lighting has come to mean the centre of public attention?
Limelight.
Yes. Which castle, the seat of the Dukes of Northumberland, has featured in a number of films, including Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the first two Harry Potter films?
Pass.
On the 1st of April 1918, the Royal Air Force was formed when the Royal Naval Air Service merged with the RFC. What do the initials RFC stand for?
Royal Flying Corps.
Yes. What was the surname of David and Elizabeth who designed the wedding dress for Lady Diana Spencer in 1981?
Pass.
What word completes the title of the 2016 comedy horror film starring Lily James and Sam Riley, Pride and Prejudice and...
Zombies.
Yes. The ensaimada, a sweet, airy yeast bun shaped like a Moorish turban, is a speciality of which of the Balearic Islands?
Ibiza.
No, it's Mallorca. You have 4 passes. Emmanuel was the surname of the dress designer for Lady Diana, as she was then. Alnwick Castle is the seat of the Dukes of Northumberland, etc. The Danish architect who designed the Opera House was Jørn Utzon, and aphonia is a medical term for losing your voice. Yeah. However, Michael, you have scored 28 points. So, at the end of that round, tightly fought, let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place, 22 points, Emma Busk and David Noble. Second place, 26 points, David Sutherland. First place, 28 points, Michael Taylor. Which means, of course, that Michael is tonight's winner and he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. Commiseration to David Sutherland, but with his score, 26 points, it's just possible we shall see him again in the semi-finals. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter @mastermindquiz. Do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.